What is up, YouTubians? Kuda Malloy here, coming at you with another exciting video. Please keep in mind this video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Okay, with that being said, I am trying to share a little bit of knowledge on a lot of different topics, so that's a good reason to hit that subscribe button down there below. Thank you so much to everybody who has liked and subscribed so far. I totally appreciate it. Okay, with that being said, I've got a Warbonnet Blackbird XLC heavyweight double here, and basically I want to protect my investment. So I might not do this rigging setup all the time, but in certain situations when there's a tree that's super gnarly, something like a pine tree that's going to cut or cause abrasion to the webbing, I might do this setup. And yes, it's over engineered, but there's a reason for that. I'm trying to protect my investment. Also, whether you're a normal sized individual or somebody who's heavyweight or on the larger side, this could help to alleviate some of the direct stress that's going on to the webbing in certain situations, but also, anyways, you get the idea. Okay, so what's going on is coming out of the Warbonnet Blackbird XLC, there's Dyneema cord that goes into two buckles for adjustment. Then all the 1-inch webbing coils around. And basically you get to this point where you've got an end loop right here, right? This is the end loop. And then that is stitched into the webbing. What I've done is I've gone ahead and spooled it around about 4 or 5 times or whatever onto a carabiner. And what's going to happen is I'm going to take another carabiner that's already in the line. By the way, these are good quality carabiners. Make sure you get good quality ones. This one is rated for 2,200 kilograms, as you can see. This one, I believe, is, what is it? That's 20. Sorry, let me go to focus. I believe it's 24 kilotons or whatever that comes out to. But it's basically a good quality one. It's not something that you're going to buy at Harbor Freight is basically what I'm trying to get at. Okay, so with that being said, what I want to do now is I want to clip this carabiner into this loop right here, right? And that's going to create basically another buckle is what that's going to do. Let me see if I can do this with one hand and do it on camera all at the same time. So basically you're going to go through there, right? There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this all nice and pretty, and I'm going to tighten this up a little bit, right? So let's say this was all tightened, just to make it easy, because I'm trying to do this with one hand. But basically, you've got your carabiners going through the loop, right? There's the stitching that created the loop. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to protect that stitching. I'm also trying to protect the webbing. So what's going to happen is as you tighten this up, let's see if I can actually do this. Sorry, apologies. This is about the best I can get it. Okay, so anyways, once it gets all pretty and nice and it's all tightened up, you basically have this kind of a setup here, right? Where you've created another buckle, kind of like this kind of a buckle, but you've got big ovals or big loops here. What I'm going to do now is this side of the carabiner, this is a locking one. It doesn't have to be locking, but just make sure you get good quality carabiners. What I'm going to do is over here, I've got some rock climbing rope that I basically tied a double fisherman's knot into. If you don't want to do the rope thing, what you could do is you could just do regular old webbing that you want to toss, right? Or something that's maybe more heavy duty, maybe a heavier gauge. And then what I did was I just I doubled it, right? I made a continuous loop using a figure-8 knot, as you can see here. So I made a figure-8 knot, that made one big loop. And then from the loop, I basically wrapped it around the tree, and now I'm connecting the two ends right here, which is what you see here. So you could do this and then continue on with this as you keep going, or you could do the rock climbing rope thing. This is basically about a 10-foot section of rock climbing rope. I tied a double fisherman's knot in this one, basically made a loop again, that then I can put 1-inch hollow webbing around. So basically the hollow webbing is what's rubbing up and down against the tree, right? This is what's taking the majority of the abrasion. It's a little bit of a heavier setup, that's true, but at the same time, like, this piece of the webbing is going to get gnarly, and this I can always change out, right? Undo all this, pass the rope through again. But the whole point is that this will then clip onto here, and now this goes around the tree, whether it's the webbing on its own or whether it's the rope setup or whatever it might be. At least I know that I've got that going for me. So that's going to take up all the abrasion. Does that make sense? I will go out in the field and show you this in person. That video is coming up in I'd say about a week from now is when I should be able to post up that video. But for now, I just wanted to show you like some of the more details so you could actually see how I went through it. So just to recap, coming out of your hammock, right? Whether you have a Warbonnet Blackbird XLC or whatever you have, basically you're going to have some type of a strap system. The strap goes to the first carabiner. You loop it around, right? Loop it around about 5 or 6 times to create this. Then you take a second carabiner, clip it into the end loop, the very last loop that's in the carabiner. and then through all of this other webbing. And as you pull the webbing tight, let's see if I can actually do this on camera. So as you pull the webbing tight, almost there. Okay. So as you pull the webbing tight, what happens is you create this buckle. And what that buckle is basically doing is it's taking all of the stress out of that last loop, right? The last loop that's in there, because I'm basically wrapping around and around and around. And the reason why you need to do this with 2 carabiners is that it doesn't all unravel itself. So see now how thick that is? That's about 5 layers of webbing thick. And that basically took all the stress, or some of the stress, at least partially some of the stress, off of that, just connecting it to the single loop. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I undo this, let's see if I can get to this now. I'll show you what the normal way looks like too. It's actually a good idea. Okay, so if you take all this apart, right? Okay, this is what the very end looks like, right, of the webbing. And there's that stitching. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take this, go around the tree once, right? And then carabiner this loop into itself. So that would be like a decent way to do it. That's what the manufacturer recommends. Totally in favor of that. But like I said, if you come across a nasty tree where you don't want to damage this and you want to protect your investment, then you can go ahead and do the rope or the webbing or whatever it is, and then basically loop it through that way. So that way, when you get your carabiner on, see if I carabiner to here, and then I carabiner to here, having fun. Okay, there we go. It actually worked. So now this would be around the tree, and then basically this would pull on itself, right? So there's still a lot of stress to this loop that way. My way, going around the other carabiner, right, 4 or 5 times, what you're doing is you're taking less stress off of this stitching in this loop. Not all of it entirely, but less stress is being on here, because as you keep wrapping around the webbing over and over and over again, you're creating the friction there that's going to make the stress be distributed throughout the entire looping of whatever you did, right? So if you keep doing this over and over and over again, basically you're taking out some of the stress from one single point, as you can see right here. Does that make sense? It's like a physics thing. But anyways, you get the idea. I am Cooter Malloy. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Hopefully you gained something from it. Down in the description there down below, there's some links to some pretty cool products. You may want to check those out. I update those quite frequently. Also, down in the description, there's a link to Cooter Malloy product reviews. So make sure you visit that Facebook page, like, follow, subscribe on there if you like what you're seeing. There is that subscribe button if you want to be subscribed to this channel to catch more exciting content like this. Also, there's a notification bell. Make sure to hit that. I am Cooter Malloy, asking everybody to subscribe, and I will catch you all on the next exciting video. Oh, quick tip, in case you were curious about seeing this knot again, if you wanted to see that on the webbing, there you go. It's basically like a figure 8 knot to basically create a loop, right? A loop. And then what I would do is I would bring this around the tree and then basically connect these 2 ends. And that's what I did. Where is it? That's what I did with this carabiner. Right, is I got that going on. So that connected the 2 together. So if I undo this one, this is bonus material. You know, this is why you want to hang around these videos to the very end.